Hi, I'm Willie. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. If this is your first time here, please consider clicking subscribe and hitting that little bell notification icon so you can be notified when I release a new tips, tricks, or technology tutorial video. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you. Thank you for being here. If you haven't hit that notification icon, go ahead and do that. So tonight, what we're going to talk about, we've been talking about Axis and Axis communications, and in the last Axis video I showed you the network audio bridge that we're going to use. We're going to use that in conjunction with a camera. Now, I bought this myself. Axis did not send this to me, and this is the Axis M3046-V 1.8 millimeter, and we are going to be getting, so that 1.8 millimeters, that means it's a fixed iris lens, and that is the focal length, 1.8 millimeters. It is effectively a 3 megapixel camera. It does support Zipstream, which we will talk about. Zipstream is the Axis compression protocol that rides on top of H.264, and you can get some amazing compression out of it. So it does H.264, it also does MPEG, has WDR. We've got a 132 degree field of view in a 4x3 or 152 degrees in 16 by 9. The vertical field of view is 96 and 80 respectively. Let's see, it has an onboard micro SD card slot. It does have an HDMI output. It has power over Ethernet, and it is hosted video compatible. So I like this camera. This camera, like I said, I bought this. This camera was about $339 delivered to me, and it is very discreet. But this is the camera we're going to use in all of our Axis videos that we're going to do, where we are going to trigger audio based on video. So when we open the box, this is what we get. You can see here's the dome. Now, I've had this out of the box, otherwise it would have plastic over that dome. But these are packaged pretty nicely so that they're not going to jostle around. So when you open up the box, you can see it's actually in the cardboard like that. So we'll get that out of there. Another thing you're going to get with this, you're going to get some quick start instructions. And then you're going to get your owner authentication key. And then it also comes with a tool to take the screws out, because you have to take it apart to put the SD card in and to plug the Ethernet in. So I'm going to take this out of the cardboard. You know, I read all those stats off at the beginning, and you probably think to yourself, well, you know, those are standard. Yeah, those are kind of standard stats. But Axis does things a little differently. So this camera, out of the box, is going to have a 3-year warranty from Axis. You're going to get firmware updates for the lifetime of the device, and you're also going to be able to actually get a hold of Axis and get a hold of an engineer over there for any kind of troubleshooting, any kind of tech support. So there are these 2 screws here and here, and we're going to take that off. That's going to release this white portion, this shield, and then we're going to have the camera that's underneath. So let's do that real quick. Alright, so the camera is now apart. So we've got the actual business end, and then we've got the shroud. And on the business end of this, you can see, I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me change my lighting here a little bit. You have to take my, no, you can see it. It's right in there. That's your HDMI out. So you can actually go HDMI out to like a TV or to a monitor or something like that. And then here's our reset button. There's a factory reset button in here. And then we have the Ethernet over here. Also on the shroud, where the Ethernet cable is going to go in, we've got this little piece here. So we're going to pop this piece out. Comes out just like that. Just have some generic 32 gig SD card, so we're going to go ahead and stick that in there. 32 gigs. 32 gigs did not used to be that small. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to insert it in the SD card slot on the camera. And this camera by the way, does not have any IRs. This is does not have any infrared. But for what we're doing it for, the camera, you know, what we're going to be using it for, the camera does not need any IRs. All right, so I've got my SD card in there. I've got an Ethernet cable right here that's got PoE running to it. So I'm going to plug it in. And I'm going to take that out there. I'm going to take the shroud. I'm going to put the shroud back on. And I'm going to take it and I'm just going to set it up here on the top of my printer. So let's hop on over to the computer and we will check the camera out. Alright, so the IP address of our Axis M3046-V 1.8mm network camera is 192.168.66.54. And the first time you bring this up, it's going to have the user root there and is going to make you select a password. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to make up a password here. And it's probably going to say, yeah, it's medium. So we're going to go ahead and create our login. And down here, we're going to go ahead and share the info with the Axis folks. If you can't share information with your Axis folks, you know. All right, so the next thing it wants to know, it says select your power line frequency, and we can choose 50 or 60 hertz. We're going to choose 60 hertz. Select the capture mode. So we've got 3 megapixels, 3 megapixels with HDMI, 3 megapixels in 6:9. Let's choose that one. And we'll go next. Changing the capture mode may take a while. Yes, we're going to change it. All right, so here's the next page under getting started. We're going to leave IP version 4 at auto IP or DHCP. We're going to leave automatic time and date, but we're going to specify our NTP server. ntp.uiuc.edu. We will set our time zone here for Chicago. We'll do auto daylight and we'll select that. Now we're going to get the first view of our camera. It is just simply facing up, and we are just going to accept that. And so you can see it's got pretty good resolution. It auto formatted the 32 gig card, and you can see we've got 100% free and the status is okay. There are no recordings, so I can actually hit record. It is now recording to the SD card. I could hit stop, and then you can see here we've got one recording, and it is simply playing back that recording. And then I can also come in here, download it, and you can see we've got our live stream. I'll prove to you that it's live-ish. You can see me run my hand through the video there. So here we've got our image settings. Right now everything is just kind of default. WDR is on. Light environment is automatic. So you can see that you can select one of these presets to adjust that light environment for the white balance. Our exposure mode is automatic. You can get in here and you can really start fine-tuning some of these things. For what we're doing right now, until we get into actually fine-tuning video deployment, we're going to leave these at the default setting. Here are all of our stream profiles. Now, by default, the zip stream is probably going to be off. The zip stream is going to save you so much storage. It's unreal. So if you set it on extreme, and you can see here, you can't tell the difference. Now, maybe if there were people or moving objects there, you would be able to see a difference. But right now, and especially the way we're going to use it, we do want to record because we want that video there, but we don't want it to take up a bunch of storage. So we're going to run extreme zip stream, and maybe I'll do a video entirely on zip stream. Over here you can see our H.264 profile is set to high. Here we can add a text overlay to the to the camera. We can also include an image. If you're going to do text, you can do black on white, white on black, white on transparent, black on transparent. And then here, Axis has a ton of modifiers that you can stick into the included text. I mean, it's just all these things, like what week it is, the day, the full length weekday name. You can get really ornate with that. This camera does not have PTZ, so you're not going to see that. Now we can add a privacy mask to this, so I could put the privacy mask right there, and now you can see that that area is not going to be recorded. It's not going to be viewed. And then you can also create viewing areas, so you can get pretty intricate with your privacy masks and your viewing areas. Under System, you're going to see all of these options, and what's really nice is once you learn one Axis system and the way that they do it, the rest of them follow the same layout, so you should be able to follow from device to device relatively easily. So here's our language. Right now we're in English. We can choose from all of these other different languages. We've got our time and date settings. Got that camera orientation, and we're not going to mess with that, so we'll leave that the way it is. Got our TCP/IP settings, so we can do IP version 6. Bonjour is turned on, UPnP. Now I do have UPnP blocked at my router, so it doesn't matter whether it's on or not. Here's where we can start building those firewall rules. They call it an IP address filter. I'm going to call it a firewall. And then here you can see connected clients, and then you can see the current network settings here. We've got all of our security settings here, which we will get to setting all of these up. If your network uses 802.1x, you can do that. Here's our certificates, HTTP, HTTPS. We'll get to all that. Here's where we can add users. So if you add a user, it's administrator, operator, viewer. So they're using those same sets of permissions throughout the devices. So everything should be very familiar with you going from device to device. We can allow anonymous viewers. Here's our OnVIF settings, our SNMP settings, our storage settings. So not only do we have the onboard storage, but then we can set up network storage, and we can actually mount a network share and record to that. Here's our HDMI out on the device. Here's our events. And I want to talk a little bit more about that here in a second. Here we have camera tampering. We can do detectors for that. We've got maintenance here where we can factory default. We can upgrade the firmware. We can download reports if we need to send that off to port. Plain config just takes this nice UI and smashes it down so it works well on a mobile device. But there are two sections that really set Axis apart from everybody else, and we really need to talk about that. One of those is the events. We can create rules and get very intricate. So this is more than what people kind of forget. They see the price of this camera, and when I tell you $339 spent on this camera, people go, ugh, you know. But this camera, not only do you get the 3-year warranty, you get the support. This camera is basically a Linux computer that's attached to a camera. And Axis invented this technology years ago, and they continue to innovate. And we're going to spend a lot of time talking about rule setups, the triggers, the different things that we can do. Can we schedule it? Do we have to schedule it? We can do additional conditions, different types of actions. I mean, we are really going to get into this, and you're going to see really what makes some of this stuff so powerful and why I get so excited about it. So you've got recipients, schedules, recurrences, manual triggers, all of these things that you are going to start seeing as we start putting this together. And then it's going to click, you know, so I'm really excited about that. Then the other thing is the ecosystem that Axis has. So you see this apps. These cameras are modular, and you can add different software into them. Like we have these running like people counting software, so you can see how many people are coming and going out of your building. They have demographics. They have well, you know what? Instead of me just trying to remember it from and real quick before we get into that, you can see here it says Axis Video Motion Detection, and that's got the red circle. That means it's stopped. The Axis Video Scene Provider has the green dot. It is running. So if we click on check out more apps, this is going to take us over to the Axis page, and this is going to show us just the Axis apps. So they've got people counting, 3D people counter. So the 3D people counter is going to have a higher confidence level in the numbers. We've got queue monitoring, occupancy estimator, store reporter, store data manager, so when we're in retail settings. Then we've got tailgating detector, random selector, so it can do random selection of people and scenes. Axis direction detector. You have perimeter defender, which can do like PTZ auto tracking. We've got fence guard, loitering guard, motion guard. The motion detection, of course, that one is free. Then you've got the license plate verifier, and then you've got the radar auto tracking for PTZ. And Axis does give a few of these away. So not only does Axis have a very impressive suite of software applications that run on top of your cameras, but we've got this application gallery, and now you get into the third parties. And when this loads, you're going to see all of these different companies. So here's the Axis stuff. Then you get down here to like here's Ametis. They've got an outdoor object tracker. They've got people counting. They got crowd detection, so they can actually tell when a crowd is gathering. It's kind of crazy, right? Here's a cool one for those of you who use that Exact Vision. Exact, which is Tyco now, they have Exact Vision Edge, which is a full Exact Vision VMS that runs directly on the IP camera. So that's pretty cool. I don't know, and once you get into this, it'll tell you what models the software will run on. Here's another one: Orchid Core VMS, Orchid Fusion VMS. So then we've got intrusion detection, loitering detection, sabotage detection, indoor detection. Let's get to some of these other ones that are pretty cool. Let's see here. So this one will do smoke detection. So they can actually look at the video and detect smoke, and then you can alarm based on that. Now, it is not a replacement for a smoke detector, and they will tell you that, but it is another way to augment your alerting system. Something else that is pretty cool. Oh yeah, here. Wrong way detection. So if you know people are only supposed to be going one way and you get somebody going the other, that's pretty cool. People counting. There was another one. Oh, here you go. So sound intelligence. These people are brilliant, but they can actually tell. They can detect aggression, and they can actually know when a situation is going to escalate based on audio signature. They also have a really cool glass breaking application. Then there is the cam streamer, so you can actually get a piece of software that loads onto your Axis camera specifically to do live streams to YouTube, Facebook, and other RTSP servers. More people counting. Then there's this other cool one. You can get a time-lapse app, so you can do time lapses, in-store analytics. But the other one, facial recognition, so you can get into that. People get really freaked out. I'm not a huge fan of the facial recognition, but one of the other things that I wanted to show you, here's a smoke and flame detector. Here is the weather cam, right? So there's a piece of software that can actually detect whether it's raining, snowing, hailing, and all those different kinds of things, and then it integrates with a web map and all that. So the Axis is much more than just a camera. and that's what's really got me kind of excited about it. So we're going to take all this awesome technology, we're going to start marrying it together. Not only are we going to marry this camera with audio, we're also going to then marry it with our phone system. So that's some of the stuff that's going to be coming up there. But I wanted to kind of give you a preview of this, because then the next thing we're going to talk about is the Axis speaker. And I know it's kind of slow moving, but I want you to kind of see each piece of this so you can go out and then research each piece of this. And then we're going to put it all together. So that is the next thing that is coming, is the Axis speaker. And then we're actually going to take the camera and we're going to join that up to the audio bridge and the speaker. And we're going to start doing some really cool things. And we're going to start doing some alarming and things like that. So if you've got any questions about this, you can leave it in the comments. Or if you want consulting on these types of projects, you can go to williehowe.com, fill out that contact form, and someone will be with you as soon as possible. If we can't help you, we'll get you to someone who can. That's our promise to you. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And if you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you want to talk to us on Discord, the link is down below. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a patron on Patreon, and thank you to those folks, that link is down below. And our Amazon page is down below. It doesn't change your price, but it does kick a couple bucks to the channel to keep the dollars rolling in, so we can buy some of this gear, so we can teach you, how you can do some of these really awesome things. And it's gonna be a good adventure. So I hope you'll stick around for it. And if you have any questions, I hope you'll put them below. And as always, I want to thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.